everyone, and welcome to the SLO City Together Podcast. Back once again
after a mini hiatus.
Yes.
Mini.
It happens.
We do have mini hiatus-y eyes.
Yeah, and this was one of them.
It is.
We have many. How are you doing, Brent?
I'm doing okay today. It's a little case of the Mondays,
yeah.
but I'm okay.
How would you define the case of the Mondays? What does that look like for you?
Case of the Mondays, for me, or just culturally, like how people would define it.
Let's go both. How about personal and cultural?
Okay. Cultural, I think Mondays are the day after a weekend in which many people feel joy, rest, a sense of no responsibilities and peace. And Monday is the return to the grind, as they might say.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit discouraging to say, like, okay, I guess I'm going back to work.
Mm-hmm.
For me, a case of the Mondays is kind of like that. But after a long Sunday, a case of the Mondays could be a little bit foggy, a little bit tired.
Yeah.
A little bit of, you got to fight for motivation. Does that sound bad? That's how I would personally define it. As I think there's so much going on in my mind that I think sometimes don't know where to start.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask is like, it could work the other way too, where it's like you're coming fresh off of Sunday.
I like working Mondays for this reason. Yeah.
So then you have the perspective of like, all right, here's what's coming up. Here's some things of improvement, areas of improvement. Mm-hmm. So it could provide some momentum, I feel like.
I do enjoy it, but some Mondays I feel a little tired. Yeah. So you're trying to get going. It's like I know the bike ride is going to be awesome. Yeah. But those first couple pedaling, your legs are tired.
Oh yeah.
And you got to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Got to go for it. Yeah. Just got to keep paddling, keep pedaling, keep stepping.
Yeah, it's so true. It's a seasonal thing too. I feel like fall is setting in.
And
it
looks dark outside.
It looks dark,
which is weird.
It's like it's
2:50,
almost 3 o'clock.
Why is it like that?
I don't know. Time change is coming.
Oh, we're in the shade. That's why.
Oh, that's why it's dark. Yeah. So
time change is coming.
My dad texted me today, and I told him I was similar. I was like, "Yeah, I'm a little tired today," and he was like, "I imagine you get pretty tired after Sunday in your profession." And I just like how he worded it.
It's very true.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad. I do get tired on Mondays sometimes. Yeah. All right. Well, good. Well, here we are.
I don't want to move on from this.
Okay. You want to stick here?
Well, because I'm thinking of more parallels. I worked out last week. Yeah. And I usually don't do leg day. Yeah. Because I play soccer on Thursday nights, but I didn't have a soccer game on Thursday night. We had farmers market. Oh, yeah. And I had a management team meeting. And so I'm like, I know I'm not going to do soccer. So the guy I go to the gym with is like, well, I'm going to put you through leg day. Yeah. So leg day happened and my legs were so incredibly sore. And yet I wanted to run on Saturday. Mm-hmm. I literally could not sit or get up from sitting without major pain. Yeah. And my family was so embarrassed of me because I just felt like I was walking like I had just gotten beaten by a stick in my legs. Anyways. Yeah. So, but I wanted to go for a run. And the first half mile was excruciating. Yeah. But once you hit that half mile, you're in the groove. Yeah. That's what the Mondays are.
That's good. I've realized, I don't know if this is a getting older thing or a different season of life or what it is. Yeah. I do feel like I've hit a point where it is harder to do things that I know will make me feel good, but aren't like going on a
harder
run.
To do things
harder to do
will not make you feel good.
That will make me feel good. Like going on a run, exercising. Yes. I feel like a year ago it was so easy, like to have that motivation, and it was so easy to convince myself that this is going to be good even if I don't feel like doing it. Mm-hmm. I feel like flash forward to now, I don't feel that way. I feel like it is harder
to do things that you know will make you feel good.
Yeah, but I don't want to do in the moment. You know what I mean?
That might be depression.
No. I think it's the opposite. I think I was more depressed when it was easy to do those things.
No, I agree with you because it's like, do I want to exert the energy to do the thing that I want to do? Yeah. That I know will make me feel better. No, I don't think I want to exert the. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah, or to convince myself that I'll actually feel better after doing that.
That is true. That is very true.
In some ways, actually, I do feel like a year ago, I'm in a much healthier mental state than I was a year ago.
Yeah, me
too.
And
I wonder if maybe it's the opposite, where it's like, I don't need to go for a run. I feel happy already.
I'm fine right now.
I'm just going to watch The Rings of Power and I'm going to be good.
I don't need to run at all.
Yeah. So I think that's it, is like, I don't feel like I need
so we
that.
were running out of
dopamine.
desperation a year ago.
What were we running from?
Oh, man. Wait, do you want to do that on this podcast?
No, not really. I don't think we should.
What were we running for?
Yes.
Or from? Yes.
Or to.
Or to.
All of the above.
So it's Monday.
Yeah.
Not a normal podcast day. So this is going to probably be a unique, even probably our personalities and our conversation.
It's late in the afternoon too. Like we will go home shortly after this is finished. So it's kind of wrapping up.
I had a coffee just about 30 minutes ago.
Oh.
Give me a little boost. I'm in the sermon writing today, which we could talk about. Luke, you did it again. You did it again.
Where's Jordan?
Where's
Cue
Jordan?
the clip.
Where's Jordan? You did a great job.
Thank you.
Everyone did not think that would be the case. But Luke preached on mercy 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it? Second time. Second time.
Second time.
Out of the gate. Was it easier this time? Harder this time?
It was harder this time.
Why?
I may have mentioned this to you already, but I feel like the first time there's no expectation. It's like, oh, Luke, okay, we'll see how this goes. And then I feel like it went well. I feel like I got some good feedback. Yeah. And so then second time I'm like, well, now I feel like there's a bar and I have to at least match it, you know? So I got in my head about that.
Yeah. Gotta get out of your head.
Yeah, you really do. I even explained it to Abby of like I feel like speaking, at least if you don't do it a lot, maybe it's different for you, is kind of like breathing or riding a bike, where it's like, it's best to not think, how do I do this? Yeah. And to just kind of go into it. You know what I mean? Like from an actual like delivery, not so much from the writing. Yeah. But I guess for you probably have a lot of muscle memory and just more comfortable since you do it every week. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm approaching this Sunday. I'm like, I know I don't want it to be like last week. Not that last week was bad. Yeah. But I think this one, because I'm preaching, this week is blessed are the peacemakers. And Luke and I were talking earlier, and it's like you and I were talking, and it's like I've preached on peace now. This will be the third time this year. Yeah. And we still got to do the week of peace for Advent. Uh-huh. So
a lot of peace.
So I think I get in my head a little bit of like, okay, how do I differentiate, or how do I stay true to the text while also not re-preaching things, which is sometimes where I get in. Because now, I mean, we've been doing, SLO City's 5.5 years old, and I stumbled across the messages tab recently on our website, and I was like, I didn't know there was like a speaker tab. And I saw, Greg Jeffries preached once, Luke Lyons preached twice.
Like you can filter it.
And then I was like, holy moly, I have 215 sermons on there. And that just was like kind of freaked me out a little bit. Like not in a bad way, but just like I have some of that, like, have I and so I'm trying to be genuine to the text. So I don't even know what I'm answering anymore, but I'm trying to approach this week with a sense of like, okay, get out of my head and don't feel the pressure of the past week or I still feel that. Yeah. But I also am trying to say like, okay, where's our church at? Yeah. What is the current cultural climate? How can I speak honestly to it while not necessarily inserting myself too much, but just kind of, I don't know. Yeah. Back to you. You did a great job talking about mercy.
Thank you.
And I do know and can empathize with that pressure. Yeah. Because nobody else is putting that pressure on you. Right. It's just you putting that pressure
for sure.
on you.
Completely internal.
That's true in most things in life. Yeah. I mean, there are some cases where it's like people will put pressure on you, but I think for the most part, it's mainly internal pressure, or you're internally assuming that someone is putting pressure on you. So it's perceived more than it is real. Yeah.
I even felt, as I started writing, I felt like, I was like, okay, last one I had a lot of jokes. There's a lot of meerkat references.
It was just one.
There was just one, but it went over really well. But and this time I'm like, I don't have as many jokes, and even that, like, there's just little things like that get into your head. That's like, oh, is that gonna be disappointing? And all those kind of things. So
I laughed. Luke and I, Jordan and I laughed to ourselves a couple times. Yeah.
Probably
because we caught some of your humor. I think there was one time that you were the math of 7 times 77 is 409 or something like that. We're like, what a dummy. But I think you were trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And I think like we got it.
Yeah. It was interesting. I felt this more this time, but even a little bit the first time. Yeah. There was a few things that I intended to be funny that people did not laugh at, which is a very bad feeling.
Yes.
And then there was a few things that I did not intend to be funny.
Yeah.
That people like when I told the story of the ice cream.
Yes.
And every time I made I said, this is not a life transformational act of generosity. People laughed at that every time. Yeah. And then I told them and here's what he said to me. And again, it's not profound, and people laughed at that every time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm glad that you find that humorous.
It's just in the small things.
It is. It's just interesting how that works out. So
yeah.
But
anyways, the art of preaching, coming to learn your own tendencies even in it. Because this weekend, I think I was telling a story about Jenna's ring, and I kept trying to shorten it every service. I finally did shorten it at 6 p.m. Okay. So I was talking to Tatum, and he's like, dude, you talked about shortening it every time, but then you would remember a different aspect of it every service, and you go off on a little tangent. I'm like, I know. It's like I probably just needed to stay. But then you hear a couple giggles, and that's you have to, not like you don't play to the audience necessarily or the congregation, but sometimes that is oh, okay, people are, it's hard to remain focused on preaching, I don't know, preaching the story or getting through the text.
And I think there's a sense where it's you kind of want to help bring people's guard down, because I think and maybe that's more perceived, but I think there is a sense of you want it to be very conversational.
Right, I do, yeah.
Community oriented, so it's
there's some preachers that don't care about that, but I do.
So I feel if you sense something is engaging somebody, or especially the room at large, you want to lean into that. I think that's more of what the
before
tendency
you know
is.
It, you tell a 20-minute story about a ring, but you don't. But I totally said the wrong thing half the time. Jenna's like, really? You kept saying that my ring fell off, but it was the diamond fell out of the ring.
You definitely said that 8 a.m. I listened to 8 a.m. and you said diamond. You said it correctly.
Okay, good,
so
good,
at least the 8 a.m. crowd got that. So yeah. But I feel we haven't done this in a while, and there's been a lot.
Worship nights.
That's happened. Worship nights, staff retreats, fasting. Retreat. We could go anywhere.
Any of theirs is the possibilities.
Yes, it's true.
What is happening around us?
I don't know.
Is there construction again?
There's no way. There's
somebody sawing something?
I think he's just banging on a wall.
Is it the bankers?
We're taking this building.
We're taking this building over by force.
Bring it down.
We can talk about that. We can talk about the condition of our building. Where do you want to start?
Oh man, how have you perceived? Let's think over the past month, or let's think since. Really, let's say 4 services have started, which was end of August, almost 2 months ago. What are some things now that we're kind of in the thick of fall, family rhythms are established, students are back in, SLO feels like slow in the fall. What are some things you're kind of taking away from the past couple of months as we've, been a part of this season?
This is going to sound negative.
Okay.
But I think, I don't think it's negative. I think it's something I'm noticing. You said family rhythms are established. I actually think that is not the case.
Okay.
I think families were more in rhythm maybe in the summer. And then school and sports and all the extracurriculars and all the things. I have just sensed a sense of the family, the family construct is all over the place right now.
Really?
And I don't know. It's just, I think it's a cultural move, in a societal move, where I just feel there's a lot change. And to be a parent, and for Jenna and I to have 4 kids, 2 in high school, 1 in middle school, 1 in elementary school, and they're not over engaged in things. It just feels all right, we need to map out the calendar for everybody. I mean, it's one kid's in volleyball, one kid is in intramurals, another kid has work, there's church. And it's you really have to fight to prioritize. And I don't know if families have figured out the rhythm yet. I don't know. Maybe that's just my perception. And again, it's not negative. It's just something I'm noticing. But what was the question about that?
I guess like, specifically
that was triggering clearly.
Specifically in like the church,
yeah.
I guess. Yeah, of all the events, all the things that have happened. What's something that's like stood out or been significant? Something you're meditating on, celebrating, that kind of thing.
Yeah, man. I think I have to fight to remember that what's happening at SLO City is super unique and it's super special. And I mean, the all church fast and prayer time was, I know we mentioned it earlier, but that was so special and unique and powerful for me personally. For I literally, between my relationship with the Lord, it was so good for me. And I think it was so needed, and the church was so hungry for it, and that was refreshing. I think I was really encouraged by how many people participated and sent us notes and were like, this was so good for me and so helpful. And I think it was galvanizing for the church. I think people are inviting their friends. There's no space hardly. I mean, this past weekend was a little lower in attendance for some reason, but we had 1,000 people at church the weekend following that fast. Is that right?
Yeah, the 13th.
Yeah, and so it was just like crazy, like that hunger and that like excitement and the response in worship. I don't know what I'm taking away from this season outside of like there's been a lot happening, and yet the week that we said less is happening and is the week that we experienced like, I don't know, more in a sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like the week that, and we still had groups on Tuesday night, and we still had men's Bible study. And
things happening.
Yeah, but it was like, we're going to step away from some things. And that was the week that we just experienced the more nature of God, which is, I think, is like what fasting and prayer and that is. It's experiencing more of the Lord. And yet we are culturally convinced that to experience the abundant life, we have to do more things and accomplish more things and get our kids involved in everything. And like, and it's like, and yet there's a void and an emptiness in that that we are not realizing until I don't know. So that's just what I'm noticing.
Yeah.
Even as I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. I feel like, I mean, some of the things that I took away, like personally from the fast was, I think it, you think if you go without food in some sense, you lose energy or focus and like you do to a degree. But I think especially the first day, I noticed like I felt as mentally clear as I like ever have. Like I just felt like really sharp, And so I don't know. I think there's a sense, again, it kind of goes back to that thing I was saying earlier of like choosing the thing that I know is good for me, even if it's hard.
That's true.
It's kind of that. It was like a very intense practice of that.
Yeah, that's very true.
And you experienced that. Again, maybe people experience it differently. For me, I experienced some of the physical benefit. I also experienced some of the physical difficulty, and I woke up in the middle of the night with a fever.
Oh, wow.
Well, not probably with a fever. Felt like I had a fever. But anyway, so yeah, it's a give and take. But I think there is like a good lesson in there of what you're saying. Like it's not about cramming. It's not about thinking like if I miss something, if I'm not, whatever that is, fill in the blank, then I'm insufficient and not provided for, and something will suffer,
Yeah.
So I think it can be, I think it's part of the practice of that.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And I think collectively as a church, like it's just been cool to see. I mean, there's a lot happening. Like, I mean, we have like events happening and trunk or treat coming up. And we did the worship night. But like, even in that, like the worship night was simple. It was very simple. And it was so powerful. Yeah. And like,
it really was.
I don't know. And like, just the simplicity of ministry is meeting with people, helping connect them to the life of Christ, to life with Christ, life with others. And it's like, and then when that just when that simply happens, like it's like God takes care of the rest, and He builds His church, and He does His thing, and we worry and we fret and we run around and we try and do more to accomplish more. And it's like when we let go, God does some of the work. And I think, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with
it's all good.
I felt like I've turned it off 5 times. But so that's what I've noticed. Yeah,
that's cool. I think it was cool too to like. I love the intentionality of breaking a fast communally with a meal.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was the most special part for me. It's like just seeing everybody sitting around, talking. They hung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was ready to go home and people were still there. It's like, come on. I'm kidding. No, yeah, that's just such a unique experience. Like even if you have fasted before individually, I think it's rare that you get to break a fast communally, and it really does. It builds communion with God. It builds communion with one another when you do that as a community, and that shared experience, shared struggle, shared provision, shared depth and growth and hunger and shared satisfaction in that as well. Yeah. So this is really cool. It's awesome.
What are you excited about coming up? Looking back, we've got 4 services and like 8 a.m. all the things, and like it's been cool to see new people come in and get connected, and old people sticking around, like not old in age, but like just people who've journeyed with us since the beginning, like engaged and leading. But like, what are you looking forward to in the next couple months? I mean, it's almost November. Election season is upon us.
It is
full tilt.
I'm thinking this is when my brain really starts turning towards Christmas. And that whole season. So
do we want to make an announcement?
If you want to.
Bring ding ding ba ding 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 dong dong.
Christmas. What's our announcement?
Our announcement is on December 22nd, we will host Christmas at the Pack. The Cal Poly Pack.
Wow. Performing Arts
What do you mean? You're acting surprised. You know,
I'm playing the part of the listener.
Okay.
To create,
Christmas at the Pack, 2 services.
Yeah.
What did we settle on? 9 and 10:45.
And 10:45.
Bring your kids, bring your friends, bring your coworkers, bring your neighbors, your
all
enemies.
Family service, right?
All family service, an hour, and it's going to be special. And then, so it's kind of like a Christmas with SLO City season.
That's Sunday morning, December 22nd. Yeah, so no
Sunday night that night.
No on-campus Sunday church. We're doing it exclusively at the Pack.
At the Pack at Cal Poly. Free parking, hot cocoa, maybe some donuts.
Christmas decor.
It's going to be really special. And then on the 24th, Luke, do you want to make that announcement? Bring ding bang ba ding ding ba ding ding.
Christmas. The 24th, we are still having our Christmas Eve service in the parking lot from 4:30 p.m. It'll be a more simple but still very significant candlelight service, similar to what we've done in the past. But in terms of the instrumentation, be a little more acoustic band, very sing-along, Christmas style, telling the story of Christmas and and centering our hearts on the truth and joy of that season the night before we get to celebrate it with our families. So both really special opportunities. We encourage you to attend both. This is not a one or the other. If you can only do one, that's great.
You can do both. You don't have commitment problems.
Yes.
You have commitment priorities.
There you go. So they will both be significant, and we hope that you are there. Why? Maybe I'll ask this. Why are we doing it at the Pack?
Well, because we feel like I think the Christmas season is maybe a season that those who are maybe disengaged from the life of the church or from their faith or who don't make it a regular habit of attending are really interested in coming and receiving an invitation. And so as a church, we've only got like 385 seats in our facility. And I think
like max shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah. And instead of doing like 5 or 6 services on a Sunday, we wanted to just do 2. And I think it's a really cool venue. I think it'll be a really memorable moment for our church and for families, and create space for you, me, others to invite everybody. So we really are trying to like invite the city and the county, like whoever wants to come, you can come. Yeah. It'll be ticketed just because I think Cal Poly wants a ticketed event, but it's free tickets. And so just so they can know who to expect and how to be there. Yeah. We've got to work on the what's happening part during the service, but it's going to be special. And again, family style and not overdone or overblown. Yeah. I mean, we did talk about having people dangling from the ceilings,
like angels,
really
just angels,
just doing this.
Yeah, live nativity.
Hosanna in the you've seen it, like some like
pyrotechnics,
explosives
will be happening.
Explosives, pyrotechnics is the word I was looking for, not explosives.
Yeah, explosives. Yeah.
So we're gonna try and invite the whole city. Yeah, and so we are encouraging you. So that's why we're doing it there. Yeah.
And it's a cool, like you said, it is a community invitation, but it's also cool that we get to worship and celebrate Christmas in a community space.
And all kind of in one room.
Yeah.
Like we don't get to do that much anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I think that is like the goal. And so everybody in, 2 services, but everybody in pretty much one space is powerful. Mm-hmm. So that's it. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that.
I'm excited for Hope for One as well, which
Hope
is
for One.
The Big Brothers Big Sisters initiative is coming up here soon.
Yeah, which is always really special. Trunk or Treat's happening this Saturday. Right? It's the Saturday on the parking lot.
Are you hosting a trunk?
I'm hosting a trunk.
Do you want to tip off your hand of what you're going to be?
I think as long as a couple of items from Amazon get in here on time, I'm going to dress as a park ranger.
Oh.
And I'm going to hang up all my national park postcards in my trunk and just different national park memorabilia.
Okay.
Because that's all I have in my life. So it's just going to be national park themed.
Okay,
and hopefully I'll be a ranger. So
okay.
That's what I'm going with this year.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the most effort I've ever put into it. So
good.
Yeah. What about you?
I put in minimal effort. And I am the same thing as I am every year, which is a tailgater. Yeah. I will have the University of Kentucky football game on in my car. And I will have a fire pit. Yeah. And a little grill and a cooler with candy. Mm-hmm. That's it. I'm also the MC of the event, and you are probably a part of some
setting
of that.
It up. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be great. Invite your friends and tell all the kids.
Yeah. It'll be a good time.
All right.
So is there anything else coming up?
I don't know. We're getting pretty tired.
Men's and women's?
Men's and women's starts next week. Men's and women's groups, and I think Men's Mondays, Women's Wednesdays are going to be great. Mm-hmm. It's been pitched on stage a couple times as a Bible study. It is, but we're in the scriptures, but we're really circling up around some content, and that'll be really good. So food and intentional conversation, connection with one another, and I think it's gonna be good. Are you signed up?
I think I am signed up. Yeah.
Oh,
I will be there. So
what about your crew on Tuesday morning? Are they gonna come?
Probably not.
Why not?
But I'll invite them.
They're just too busy.
It's like if you go from Monday night to Tuesday that ends at 8 p.m. to Tuesday at 7.
Bro,
that's a hard turnaround.
You're telling me. That's my group right now. My group right now ends at 9 on Tuesdays.
Oh, that's right.
We do the Wednesday morning Bible study, and I get up at 6, and I'm like, you talk about doing something that you know is good for you, but you don't want to do.
7 a.m. Bible study.
But it is good. Every time I leave, I'm like, I'm encouraged.
Yeah.
And that is why we discipline ourselves, commit ourselves to the Lord.
Train yourself in godliness.
That's right.
That's what it is. Just read that this morning. 1 Timothy 4.
Oh.
It's good.
Nice.
It's good. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, I think we're wrapping up.
Are we?
It sounds like it.
Is this it?
I did go. I'll share this little anecdote since I mentioned national parks. I went to Death Valley on Friday.
Yes.
Have you ever been to Death Valley?
I've never been.
It's a cool one. It's a cool park. It's huge for one. It's not like if you go to Yosemite and there's here's Bridalveil Falls and here's El Capitan. It's go to the visitor center, drive 26 miles to get to this thing. I mean, there might be things closer.
Do you see anything out there? Is there nothing?
Is there
squirrels?
It's all desert. There are some
armadillos.
I didn't see armadillos. Saw some birds. There's not much though, because there's not a ton of water or nutrients. There's a lot of salt.
How'd it get there?
That's a good question.
How did it get so low?
I don't know. I guess rivers, water.
Yeah.
That's the lowest point, 282 feet below sea level. Lowest point in North America.
Okay.
Is all the glacial runoff from the Sierras, and it just erodes the rocks, and then the water evaporates, but the minerals don't, and the salt doesn't. So it's table salt, just straight table salt.
Just pick it up. Did you eat some of it?
I didn't. I meant to, but I didn't.
Yeah, you should have. But then you would have had chapped lips.
Yeah. It was windy.
But luckily, you always carry chapstick in your pocket.
I do.
Luke is the kind of friend that would let you share. He lets you share his chapstick.
Yeah, I let you share my chapstick.
I share your chapstick with others.
Yes, yeah. It's kind of communal. Yeah, it's a communal chapstick. So, anyway, there's the year to go. If you haven't been to Death Valley, it's cool.
I've never been.
Recommend. National parks are awesome.
Is it different than Joshua Tree?
Mm-hmm.
Different landscape, everything.
Yeah, because Joshua Tree is
it's
you have the trees for one.
Yeah.
And you have those rock mounds.
But Death Valley has no trees.
Not really. Okay. If you go higher, because there are some mountains there. So if you go up, a few thousand feet, there's some trees up there. But for the most part, it's barren cliffs and just wide open desert.
Were there any other people out there?
Yeah, there was quite a few people.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. It was surprising.
How hot was it?
That was the other thing. It was so varied. If you're up high, I think it was 50 degrees. The lowest point was 80.
Oh, that's nice.
And it was windy everywhere.
Oh, weird.
And yeah, so
I would have thought it'd been 130.
No, apparently it cools off
Okay.
Like pretty
desert,
quickly out.
Cold desert
after
nights.
the summer. Yeah. Like it gets really hot over the summer, but in the fall it cools off. So
I would like to do that. I think that's what
I
want to do. I want to get a little trailer and just drive around.
Yeah.
Camp at some local spots, explore, hike.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. It just feels like it's so impossible and so expensive and would take so much work to plan.
Yeah.
Because everything now is like reserve only.
Yeah.
That seems so annoying to me. I'm such a spontaneous person that reservations freak me out.
You can find like there's resources to find like legal places to camp without reservations. So yeah. But there you go. Well, that's my recommendation. If you haven't been to Death Valley, it's cool.
Death Valley, where Luke found happiness in life.
And salt.
And salt.
Table salt.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll talk with you soon.
See you.